thank you very much. My name is Hunja Mashaya from KBC, and I have one question. I've heard you talk about suspending the case against Kenyatta and Ruto. Yet we have another suspect, that is Joshua Arap Sang. What is his fate?
You know, the African Union in a summit cannot discuss a case that's before the court that does not touch on a sitting president or a senior state official. And therefore, obviously, in the decisions that were made by the AU, which is what we're actually addressing today, the name of Sang did not come up. Because in that case, just as was the case with the president and the deputy president before they were elected into office, right, that case is personal. And until that situation changes, it will be considered personal, and it cannot be the subject of discussion at the African Union.
Geoffrey Mosoku from The Standard. I want to make a follow-up of what Mishungu asked. Now that the president told us during the campaigns that the cases were personal, challenge to him, and all of a sudden they have turned international after he became president. We know that the Constitution of Kenya gives him immunity against any proceedings in a court of law, except for a case which is of international nature. I want to know, AU and Kenya is relying on which law or which statute to advance its case at the UN?
First of all, like I said before, and you know, the question that has been asked about Sang is actually very relevant in this case. Until you're elected into office, it's personal. As soon as you're elected into office, it actually stops being personal. If it was personal, it would never have made it to the agenda of the African Union Summit. I think that's clear. It would never have made it. It made it to the agenda of the AU because he's a sitting head of state. Okay? So basically, and you know, on the issue of the law, Article 16 of the statute, it allows us a deferral. Again, last week when we were here, I told you, we signed on to the whole statute. We did not sign on to parts of the statute or certain provisions of the statute. We signed on to the whole statute. And therefore, we can invoke any part of that statute. Any part. And please go and read the statute, and you'll see it contains deferment, it contains referrals, it contains withdrawals from the statute itself. So it has all that. We signed onto a statute. We did not sign onto parts of that statute. And that statute has all those provisions, relevant ones, the ones that you've just referred to defer the case. And it also clearly states who should be approached to defer these cases. So, I mean, there is no ambiguity, I think. The law is clear, and the African Union has made it clear that it's fighting impunity and its a promotion of democracy and rule of law is absolute. It's absolute. And that's why it can only fall back on the statute that exists now to ask for a deferral. The AU has made a decision. Look at the decision. It's very, very clear. It tells you who's going to ask for the deferral, which is endorsed by the whole union, right? And it's going to be presented to the Security Council jointly by the African Union and by the government of Kenya. So it's quite clear.